You are watching the Justin TV Invitational, cast by myself, Total Biscuit. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to SHOUTcraft right here. I bring you BratOK in the yellow trunks. He is playing Terran here on Icy Cup Fighting Spirit versus his opponent Attero in the baby blue trunks. He is playing Protoss. This is the Justin TV Invitational, as brought to you by Zowie, QPad, Split Reason, and brackets kindly provided by Zeke.com. These are the loser bracket finals. One of these guys will go through to the final to face SHOUTcraft. Another will go home, although he will go home with some money because he got this far, so $100 guaranteed for the loser of this series, and of course way more on the way for the guys who win. Now, Fighting Spirit is an interesting map. We've seen some great upsets here so far, so hopefully we'll see yet more of those. I don't know, I mean, BratOK has been so damn strong this entire tournament. And all I've really seen of Attero, I mean, I don't want to deride the guy. I mean, he got into the winner's bracket, into the semis, so he's got to be pretty amazing. But whatever the case, in his PvP, he pretty much was a one-trick pony. And I don't know if he's going to be able to face up to the wrath of BratOK, who is a multi-talented, multi-tiered player that attacks from all possible angles. He's very aggressive, but he's also very patient. It is channeled aggression, folks. It is... He restrains his aggression until the exact moment that he needs to unleash it on his opponent, and generally nobody can stand in his way. He is dangerous that way. As far as I'm aware, BratOK actually lost to SHOUTcraft in the rounds leading up to this, which is why he's in the loser's bracket to begin with. So it'll be very interesting to see a BratOK and SHOUTcraft final. It's either going to be a BratOK and SHOUTcraft final or an Attero and SHOUTcraft final. Obviously, Attero we saw go up against SHOUTcraft earlier with some interesting results. Attero lost that one 3-2 as SHOUTcraft pulled some innovative defense out, and indeed some dramatic moments going on in that particular match. Big fan of that one. We'll see if BratOK can hold his own against Attero. So BratOK's had a fair amount of time to hopefully study his opponent. No doubt he was watching the stream, keeping an eye on what's been going on here with Attero's playstyle. Of course, Attero's PvP playstyle is nothing like his PvT, so that is something he needs to bear in mind. BratOK opens up with a barracks and a tech lab. Now, we have sometimes, every now and again, seen BratOK open with a Reaper. It is a possibility, certainly, although bear in mind that can be very easily shut down by the deployment of a Stalker. Stalker will not be on the field as of yet, though. Cybernetics core is not complete. Reaper already on its way, so good timing there. BratOK is a big fan of that one. That may be scouted, however, although Attero may suspect an early Marauder push instead, but you never know. BratOK not able to deal with that probe as it comes in. Attero being a right pain in the ass right there, and needs to deal with it quickly. If he scouts the Reaper, of course, he'll be ready to defend against it. Reaper will give him some valuable scouting information, as well as some wonderful damage, as certainly he would hope, at any rate. Let's find out and see if that happens. Drives him away just before the Reaper comes out. We'll find out whether or not he thinks that... Ooh, there you go. Straight into his quick expansion right there, which... This Reaper opening into fast expansion is something that I've seen from BratOK before. As to whether or not it's going to work in PvT, I'm not entirely sure, because the 4 gateway is on the way for Attero. Here's the thing, if BratOK can actually hold the line with this Reaper right here, it could very easily snipe off the probe before it's even able to deploy anything. Now being intercepted right here by Attero, but of course Attero won't be able to do anything. BratOK with bizarre micromanagement there, or lack thereof. I have to wonder if that was lag. Whatever the case, taking 2 hits from that Zealot for no apparent reason at all. Really not actually sure why he did that. He could have very easily killed the Zealot entirely with the use of that Reaper. There we go, that's down, but the Stalker's now up on the field, which means that one will go down after another shot, and there you go. Reaper dealt with very easily. BratOK keeping an eye out for 4 gates. The problem is it could be bloody anywhere. And there we go. That is where the 4 gateway is coming from. Will the Terran player be able to hold it? He can perhaps with a bunker, and that's what he's doing right now. Going straight through into several barracks. It looks like he might be able to hold this off. We'll find out. In a PvT, it's way less of a sure thing than it is in a PvP. So just bear that one in mind. 2 Stalkers on the field, 4 Marines right here. Bunker will be finished by the time he decides to go in there. Cracking that bunker is going to be extremely difficult. He's going to need some Marauders on the field, which is what he's got coming up right here. And with the Stim Pack, that's... I don't know. I mean, with the Stim Pack, I think he's got a good chance of repulsing this 4 gate. This is really all Attero seems to do, and I've not actually seen him do anything else other than use the 4 gateway approach. So, again, it would use what works, but I don't think that's going to work so well against BratOK, but you never know. If he's able to deploy a pylon right there, this could be fairly devastating. The thing is, the Terran will do a way better job of holding the line than the Protoss will. That's an interesting approach right there. BratOK with an early missile turret for no apparent reason. Perhaps is suspecting a Void Ray, but there you go. No Void Rays right here. Here comes the 4 gateway. And we do have the bunker holding up right. He's going to need to repair this, though, because that bunker's going to go down very quickly. No repairs on the bunker. That's not good at all. Attero should be able to drive his way through there. Will he be able to hold that line? The Marauders are doing a good job of doing so. Here's the stim right then. In comes the damage. Attero being forced back gradually. However, BratOK forcing his way all the way, everything coming off the line right now for BratOK. Needs to keep deploying that. The problem is he's going to have very little money. He does have the mules continuing to pull in right there, though. He can get that bunker right there, block up with the supply depot instead. It's unfortunate that he wasn't able to repair that bunker. He could have held it up a little bit longer. And of course, no Marauder in the bunker, so not a huge amount of damage being done right there. But look at that. BratOK has actually snuck something in there. You never know what might come in. Here comes the next attack, folks. Will he be prepared to deal with it? He's got good numbers right now. Unfortunately, he will be worn down quite unpleasantly by the stim pack that he keeps using. There's the break, in come the Zealots, and there's the stim as well. No concussion available, and it's mostly Marines on the field right now, which will be taken out very easily by those Stalkers. In comes the Flood. So much coming off the line. BratOK pulls everything he's got to try and force them back, but they will die horribly by the looks of it. 10 Stalkers on the field versus 3 Marines, and a bunch of SCVs. I do not fancy BratOK's chances there at all, I'm afraid. Drills him in there once again with the best defense he can muster. GG, ladies and gentlemen. The 4 gateway takes the first game in this best of 5 series.